Hello everyone and welcome back to a top level game of professional StarCraft 2. What I've got for you today is the grand finals of the ESL Open Cup number 153 for South Korea. Both of the players in this best of 5 series are on absolute fire right now because the both of them have won a premier tournament over the course of the last month. Game number 1, right here in the top right hand corner. Playing with the Red Protoss probes from South Korea, we have the man who ended up winning Dreamhack Atlanta. We're looking at herO's main Nexus. herO ended up taking down Maru in the semifinals, and he went up against Bunny, who took down StarCraft in the other semifinals, and then he won in a very close series. Fantastic games. Really cool to see him winning another one, because before herO returned from his mandatory military service, rumor was going around in the StarCraft community if Protoss in the very first place was even capable of winning a tournament at that time in StarCraft 2's history. I mean, yeah, up to that point, not a lot of Protoss victories, and herO has been showing us that recently, yes, Protoss is perfectly capable of winning online and offline events once again, which is awesome. His opponent in the opposite corner, a man I'm also very, very happy for, because before the win that he had last week, I think the last one, the last premier tournament that he won before that, was back in 2016. We're looking at none other than Solar's main hatchery. Solar, and I don't mean this with any disrespect whatsoever, but for the longest time he was very much so the round of 8, round of 4 kind of guy. And I know that sucks, I don't really like saying that out loud either, but that was just simply where he was at. He would usually get demolished at some point in either like the quarterfinals or the semifinals, and he was always very good. Everyone always knew that they had to go through Solar, but Solar very, very rarely ended up winning the whole thing. So last week, he ended up winning the GSL Super Tournament. He took down Creator, he took down Gumiho, Byun, and then also Dark in the grand finals. Now, I would love to cast some of those games, but sadly, the GSL does not release any of their replays. Maybe that'll change at some point in the future, I'm not sure, but yeah. Anyways, I heard that the games are really fun. I haven't actually seen the grand finals yet, but I'm hoping, though, that since both of these players are on absolute fire right now, that we are going to get a good series out of them in this ESL Weekly Open Cup. So far, nothing out of the ordinary. herO opting to go for his Stargate, and I think Solar will be going for a pretty quick third hatchery here as well momentarily. His natural got blocked, but he decided to go for the third hatchery right over here first, or the third base hatchery, rather. He's trying to take his natural expansion here. Pesky little probe trying to delay this as long as possible. Pylon gets cancelled, so only 25 minerals down the drain. Where did those minerals go? Nobody knows, okay? Don't ask the tax authorities. Those minerals, they just suddenly disappeared. Now, this can be quite annoying, though, because the Adepts right now, yeah, they're going up against 2 Zerg hatcheries. Where do you make your Zerglings? Where do you send them? Do you go for the main base? Do you send for the natural? Do you do, I don't know, do you do 2 and 2? Or do you do 3 and 3? Like, where do you split them up? One of the Adepts, however, okay, maybe overextending a little bit, and he actually gets a kill. That is a slight sloppy mistake right there from herO, and it certainly makes it trickier for him right now to follow this up with additional drone kills, because that's really what he's looking for right now. Since he forced his opponent to take the third base first, you really try and make use of that, right? So now the Zerglings are running on over here. Link speed, however, is, yeah, just about to finish up. There's Metabolic Boost. I've got a feeling that, ooh, yeah, this Adept also is not going to be able to make it out. Excellent start right here for Solar. Maybe this Oracle, however, can change the tide of battle. 2 queens are already available. 1 drone, 2 drones. 2 drones at the cost of that much hull damage, though, is... I don't really like it all too much. Yeah. So he's taking about 50% of the unit's health in damage, and obviously it's going to regenerate shield, but... not a huge fan of that. Not a huge fan of that. I think he should have probably just stuck with a single kill, but he knows he needs to get something done at this point as well, because losing 2 of those Adepts in the earlier stages of the game at the cost of, well, I think just a single drone, right? And then 4 Zerglings, not the start that you're looking for. One problem you run into is that taking a third Nexus just becomes a little bit harder. He had to get himself another Adept out. Eventually, though, that third Nexus is acquired, and I don't think that Zerglings are going to be able to get a whole lot done. This guy, yeah, he's ambitious, but it's not gonna happen. Third Oracle right now flying through to the right side of the map. Okay, I think it's probably gonna be able to join up here eventually, but very good situation right here for Solar, defending incredibly well. Okay, what about this guy? Can he get any damage in? Nope, not paying attention. Small little mistake here. Yeah, probably just put it on the same control group, but on point right here. Solar is absolutely on point. Okay. Now maybe these two adepts? Zerglings, though, already running on over here. Nope, he decides to not commit. He knows that he cannot afford losing those units. In the meantime, the transition from that Stargate army is happening here inside of the main base, as herO goes for the +1 ground weapons, as well as that blink upgrade. This is, of course, that strategy, that playstyle that he has popularized over the course of the last year. A lot of players are once again steering away from this unit comp, but yeah, it's the most popular Protoss versus Zerg transition right now. And, well, it really has been over the last year, but we've seen a lot of players now once again experiment with just straight-up Twilight Council openers, a couple Dark Templar builds as well, Archon drops, that sort of thing. But so far in this game, herO not really getting what he's looking for. And that honestly may be the main reason why we see a lot of players once again experiment with a variety of openers, because Zerg players at this level have just simply gotten so good at defending against this opener, right? They've played against pretty much only this for the better part of a year. Maybe even longer than that, actually. I'm trying to think. Like, when did herO return from his military service? It's really been some time. Anyways, what I'm trying to get at... Okay. Solar has barely taken any damage here in the early game. At least less than Protoss was hoping for. And now he decides to go for a Spire as well. Now, what's happening on the other side of the map, though, is rather interesting. herO already going for a second Robo facility, as well as a Robo Bay. If he wants to go for Disruptors against someone who's going... Muta, Zergling, Roach. Okay, well, we have a couple queens going down. That's something. One Oracle, though, also had to pay the price. This could get a little bit awkward. What are we gonna make? Is he gonna go Colossi, or is he gonna go... I mean, no, it's gonna be Disruptors. You can, of course, go Colossus. Oh, what? Oh, okay. He was going Disruptors initially, and then he cancelled. Yeah, you can go Colossi very, very nicely in combination with Blink Stalker. Right, so Solar at this point reconfirms that indeed it is going to be a Blink Stalker opener, but he doesn't know about the Colossus transition just yet, although he did have a spot of that second Robo facility. So maybe he does know? Anyways, he's been saving up a lot of gas. He's going to smash his piggy bank here momentarily. There we go. 11 Mutalisks are coming up right here for the Zerg. Is he gonna march straight across the map? I thought he was gonna wait until he had like either like 3 to 4 Colossus, but I think, yeah. Judging by the Stalkers here, he's gonna go for a move right now. So normally, Mutas are used as a counter-attack only. Here's another Queen in trouble. Okay, good transfuses there. No +1 done yet on these Zerglings, so they don't actually deal that much damage to the Stalkers at this point. Now the Mutas, however, are forced to join in on the main battle here. This is a little bit funky. Those Colossi helping out against the Zerglings, but they are taking a lot of damage very, very rapidly. Zerglings and those Muta bounces definitely helping out. Okay, herO trying to warp in more and more Stalkers, blinking forward as well. He needs to win here, though, I believe, because otherwise he's going to be in a little bit of trouble. I mean, it's already a 4th hatchery done here for Solar. He doesn't have his own 4th Nexus just yet. He doesn't necessarily need to win here, but he needs to deal more damage than he's done so far. Because the problem is, as soon as he leaves this position, those Mutas are going to go to the other side of the map, and the drones are going to come up at the 4th hatch. And that suddenly makes this game very tricky for the Protoss. Okay, Purification Nova. Okay, normally not the best option against Zerglings, but he's certainly got a good detonation there. Our Stalker count looking dangerously big, though. He's bleeding out a lot of Mutas, but tons of Stalkers are going down, too. Even though normally Mutas aren't being used much for straight-up fighting, they're doing a decent job here. I think. I think, maybe, right? herO actually's got a lot of money in the bank. That is a problem. herO's got 1,000 resources in the bank right now. He really needs to be on top of his gateway warp-ins. Yeah, he must have missed a couple of gateway charges there. That actually really does cost him here. +1 is finishing here for the Mutas. It just finished for the Zerglings as well, and that suddenly makes this Zerg army significantly more terrifying, yeah. Now, since he's finally working his way through that, he decides to go after the Prism itself. And look at the money in the bank here for herO. That is the main mistake. Despite the fact that Solar is the one playing a very larva-intensive unit comp, He was on top of all of his queen injects, despite the fact that he lost a bunch of queens as well. He did not mess up. And that now means that herO is in a world of trouble. Now there's suddenly a lot of units here inside of his base. Battery overcharge, however, used to the natural. Not bad at all, but immediately those units are going to go towards the main base. How many workers can he kill? Well, already enough, I think. Yeah, oh my god. Even the battery now in a little bit of trouble, too. So I think the Stalkers are at +1, too. Yeah, so they're at +1. But Mutas and Zerglings are very good against just purely Stalker-based unit comps. There's this weird dynamic, right? Where, like, just Stalkers against just Mutas usually goes really well in favor of the Stalker player. Okay, GG is still scold, but when the Muta count grows, obviously the Mutas can stack up together, and the Stalkers then are kind of derping around and clumping up, and it doesn't really work as well. Anyways, in the end, right here, it is Solar who wins game number 1. Game number 2. We find ourselves on the map Tropical Sacrifice. Pretty neat to see those Mutas being used as a main fighting unit. I don't think that was Solar's original intention. He probably just wanted to make one group of Mutas and then go across the map, but he did decide to go for the +1 flyer upgrade, so maybe he did want to double down on them right away. Interesting situation, because he scouted that his opponent went for a blink as well, right? So he scouted that his opponent had triple Oracle. That already, with those revelations being thrown left, right, and center, that already makes everything a little bit tricky, because there's a very good chance that your Spire gets spotted. But then secondly, he definitely confirmed, I think even twice, that it was going to be blink Stalkers on the back of it. But he still decided to go for Mutas anyways. Ended up working out too. This time around, though, we've got ourselves a bit of a different build. Twilight Council coming out of Protoss, Baneling Nest coming out of Solar here. So Solar wants to go for a quick 2-0. Because I don't think you'll go for a Baneling bust at this point if you don't just mean to straight up win the game. This could get really awkward. So herO wants to go for a bit of a different build here, opting to go for the quick Glaives upgrade for the Adepts. Now, Adepts obviously are pretty decent against Zerglings, but when they're clumped up, Banelings can deal with stupid amount of damage to them. Then again, I don't think he's even going to finish up that upgrade at all. No. This upgrade is a long while away from finishing, and Solar is ready to go in for the bust here very, very shortly. This is an old school build. Now, obviously, if this would be a Stargate opener, there would be an Oracle out right now. And at that point, those Zerglings and Banelings would be in a lot of trouble. So I think that Solar probably knows what his opponent likes to do. Oh my god, he's just going down right now to take a third. This is the last thing you want to be thinking about right now, okay? Units get blown up. Stalker right there in the choke point. Honestly, very nicely done, but he does not get the follow-up wall. That's a problem. Additional Adepts right now being warped in as well, and now the workers are starting to fall. I've got a feeling that we are going to go to match point here very quickly. Yeah, these pylons here get shut down, and that's it, right? I mean, he's got 2 more pylons inside of the main base. Resonating Glaives is finishing here very shortly. He's going to be able to shade away too, but, I mean, nope, he doesn't. He does not, so that is GG. I think Solar must have known that his opponent likes to go for a Twilight Council opener on this map right now. I mean, he can stay in the game. Poof. Yeah, that's the end of that. Okay. I was actually fast-forwarding through this game, and then I realized that herO did not go for the conventional build, so I backed up in the replay. herO decides to go for a Forge. Really? herO, you're 2-0 behind against Solar. There's no way you're gonna win with a Cannon Rush. Is that the intention? Is that really what we're trying to do? He's sending out a second worker too, so he really does. Oh my god. Solar with the star senses over here. What in the world? Okay, Solar has clearly been practicing and studying his opponents here. The only tell that he's got is the timing at which that probe goes to the natural. It must have been a couple seconds off of the standard timing, and he immediately pulled 3 drones towards the low ground, and the Forge is cancelled. Okay, I don't know what Solar has been eating in the morning, but his breakfast is on point, okay? Solar casually getting 12 hours of sleep in, studying the entire day. What a madman. Like, he pulled 3 drones to the low ground because he's like, that probe is wrong. That probe, he had an ugly stare in his... I didn't like his face, okay? I didn't like the way he was smiling at my hatchery. I knew he was up to no good. No, the real thing he had is that probe was supposed to probably join the natural. Like, it took a weird route around. So what we saw is that the probe went it went for a move like that. And then it idled over here for a couple seconds, right? So I think the probe probably showed up in the natural about 5 to 6 seconds later than usual. And Solar looked at that and he realized, okay, must be a gateway into a forge. Now, when he got to the other side of the map, he did get confirmation, I guess, by seeing the timing of the Cybercore too. So Solar, once again, grabbing himself a nice advantage here. Doesn't go for a bailing nest the second time around. Although, I would like to, you know, it wouldn't work out, I don't think, right here on Data C, because the Stargate is already coming up. But, okay, Solar definitely has been putting in the work. You love to see that. Now, of course, this is match point here for Solar, so he's got a little bit of wiggle room. I love to see that decisive decision-making, though, because I think I've brought that up in previous casts as well, where Solar sometimes seems a little bit, I don't know, a little bit too passive. Like, he's incredibly good at defending, and he's very good at not, you know, dying to timing attacks and stuff, but then he kind of misses that... I don't know how to describe it. You know how, like, Dark is a bit of a madman? Dark will go for any sort of strategy that he, well, wants to go for that day. He's like, nope, I'm gonna go for 5 roach builds in a row, and I'm gonna cheese every single time. And the same with herO. Like, with herO, you pretty much always have got that killer instinct. And the same really goes for Raynor, too. But then Solar always just kind of, like, defends, and then he goes for a little bit of a cheeky attack, but then he defends some more. Love to see him going for such a decisive counter against that cannon rush, and then also for a bailing bust in the previous game. Super important, I think, to mix it up at this level. Like, you can't approach, let me put it like this. You can't approach a best of 5 series like you would 5 ladder games. It's very different to play a series than it is to play 5 individual games. Anyway. Gotta take some chances, right? You gotta take some gambles. So far, so good right here for Solar. But obviously, he's still going up against the rank 1 Protoss on the world, or, you know, on the world. I was gonna say on the planet or in the world, Lowko. You can't use... anyways. Close enough. Here go the Oracles. Not getting a lot of damage in just yet. They're hunting for drones. Nope. Nope. Okay, they got 1. 2. God, I love the drone movement here from Solar so far in these games, man. Okay, all right. These queens are a little bit far out. So 4 workers here in total. Both of them took a little bit of damage, but I think this is more acceptable, right? Yeah, they have about 2/3 of their HP remaining right now, which I think is a little bit better. Spicy little follow-up here, by the way, on the other side of the map. herO going for charge rather than blink. So the reason why you want to go for +1 ground weapons here as Protoss is normally it takes those zealots. So he's going for a zealot-based army. It takes them 3 attacks to kill a Zergling. But if the Zerglings don't have any armor upgrades, which you don't get early on into a game of Zerg versus Protoss, it will only take, with +1 ground weapons, 2 attacks from those zealots to kill a Ling. So they get significantly more powerful. There's a lot of all-in potential there. Judging by the Templar Archives, I think it's going to be Zealots together with Archons here. So despite the fact that herO is... Okay, well, he's dealing a lot of damage now. He just got a Queen as well. Yeah. Woo. Okay, well, here I was, complimenting Solar. 10 workers, and he's... Well, he was forced to cancel his forts, I suppose. That's where the 37 mineral losses are coming from, but... Yeah. 10 workers here, a Queen, 3 Zerglings at the cost of a whole lot of nothing. If you wanted to go for an all-in, right now might just be the time. Because at this point, Zerg knows very little. He hasn't gotten a scout into the opponent's main base. Archons are coming up right now. 3rd Nexus is done. So he could just play Macro on the back of this. Is he going to go for Blink right away? I don't think so. Nope, I think what he wants to do is just go for an all-out assault. We have 6 gateways. He could definitely afford up to 8. But he's at the very least going to test the waters. Those Oracles are still around, so they can help out quite a bit here. Are they going to throw Revelations around? They have thrown a couple revelations on queens that are very far off creep, and that means that I believe, well, at the very least, one of them will go down. Here is those oracles, though, and those oracles, man, they are dealing a lot of damage. Yeah, they're fantastic against those Zerglings. Love the fact that he dropped them right in the middle of that clump. Super aggressive positioning on that prism, too. GG is called, and herO gets a point on the board. The only thing that did not go well for herO in that previous game is that his probe showed up in his opponent's natural a couple seconds later than per usual, and because of that, his cannon rush needed to be cancelled. Now, what's kind of funny, though, is that normally if you want to go for a 2-base timing attack, or I guess a 3-base timing attack, I mean, he had mostly 2-base eco there for the longest time, but normally when you want to go for a build like a Zealot all-in, you will do so off of the most aggressive and most optimal version of that build. And since his Cybercore was delayed, you immediately do assume as a Zerg player that he's likely not going to go for that build, because if that was the strategy he had intended to go for, he probably would have, well, not thrown down a Forge and, you know, would have gone straight into a Cybercore. So I actually like the mind game that herO played right there, because Solar probably was thinking, okay, you know what, your Cybercore was late, therefore any sort of Twilight Council opener that's an aggressive one, it's probably going to be a little bit delayed as well, and therefore I probably don't have to worry about it all too much. Anyways, that's a lot of probablys, that's a lot of guessing, and in the end, Solar made the wrong guess. That now means that we find ourselves on Cosmic Sapphire. Once again, a Stargate opener. I think that herO has been scared into those for good now. Well, at least for this series, because apparently Solar crazy enough to go for a Baneling Nest at this level of play super early on. Stalker first here, by the way. Well, actually, no. No, it wasn't Stalker first. Okay. A little bit funky. He's baiting Zerglings right now as well. Kinda love that. Not gonna happen, though. Oracle right now, providing the high ground vision. There we go. Okay. Third Nexus, coming right up. Very quick third Nexus. Although if you compare it to the Zerg's third hatchery, I guess, you know, everything is late. But still, 3 minutes and I think 40-ish seconds, 45-ish seconds on that third Nexus is a very respectable time. Now we're gonna go straight into a Twilight Council as well as a Forge. Okay. So this is what we consider to be the quintessential herO opener. Now finally the oracles are going across the map. Notice that he does small deviations. Every single time he does this build, it's played slightly differently. Stalker first versus Adept first, Oracle straight across the map waiting until there's a second Oracle out. Faster third Nexus compared to a bit of a later one. That's a theme that herO has in all of his games, where even when he does the same build, he will do everything slightly differently. So you can never reliably go for one counter that fits all. Okay. Nice. Nice. I mean, it wasn't actually nice because he helped, you know, anyways. It was nice there, at least for the first couple hits. Well. He attacked the cocoon that was morphing in an Oracle, an Overlord. Zerg wishes they could morph one of those Oracles in off of a hatchery. Okay, that'd be sick. Well, I guess you could neural parasite a probe and then, you know, make a Nexus and then make another probe and a pylon and a gateway and a Cyber, and then you could make your Zerg Oracles. Theoretically possible. Doesn't really happen. As you may have already guessed, not a huge fan of this situation right here for herO since he took so much damage. He's still gonna try though. A bit of a stasis ward, not bad. In the meantime, by the way, Zerg decided to go very quick +1 ground weapons, +1 melee. And the Baneling Nest is already about to finish up as well. So Solar's thinking, you know what worked really well in the previous game? A Baneling bust. Well, you know, the previous game. This is very dangerous, though. That is not a lot of Protoss. I don't really see much of a Protoss army. There's no shield battery in the natural. Okay, he's just doing a little bit of a scout right there to confirm that as well. Okay, Solar once again ready to blow up the opponent's wall. +1 is almost finished, but not quite yet. Oh, couple of sentries. Force field. Oh, beautiful force field. Excellent force field. He did have 400 gas. How in the world did the man have 400 gas? It's because he started up a 4th Nexus, that's why. Battery overcharge over at the 3rd base. Oracles, I mean, they don't have a lot of HP, but there's very little anti-air in this Zerg army. Oh my god. herO, you absolute madman. GG. Okay, yeah, Solar doesn't want to play this anymore. Some very quick GGs today, apparently. Anyways, that takes us to Moon Dance, which is the rubber match for this particular series. It feels like it was just a couple minutes ago, but Solar was leading this series 2-0, and now herO has evened up the score. Alright, so the final match for this grand finals is gonna be on Moon Dance. Let's see how this goes down. Yeah, Solar trying to get lucky again. I mean, I actually thought it was gonna work. That Baneling Nest was... I mean, he hit a little bit before the +1 melee, so that was, yeah, unfortunate. But when he first got towards the other side of the map, and he had, like, what, 40 Zerglings and, like, half a dozen Banelings at least. And I think herO must have had, like, 5 Stalkers and a shield battery. I mean, that didn't really seem all too promising. But, yeah, just micro units, guys. If you're struggling as a Protoss player against those Zerg openers... just micro your units really well. Just don't miss control. Duh. God, do I need to explain everything to... No, but seriously, that was pretty nuts. Can't believe herO actually had enough gas right there to warp in 4 sentries. That is kind of funny. Anyhow, no shield batteries needed in the Netro apparently, huh? Always nice to have, but apparently not a complete necessity. A little bit of dancing in the main base. Okay, he's gonna commit. Overlord wants to go to this pillar, but I was gonna say that seems a little bit overly ambitious, and that means that Solar is gonna lose his scout. There's no way. Yep. Okay. In the meantime, link speed is done. I think he should cancel that shade. Yeah, he does. He's gonna go out in a glorious fight. Links are running back right now. Can he get one more kill? No. Never mind. Eddie the Adept. Not getting a whole lot done. It's disappointing, but it is what it is. Yeah, those Zerg Baneling busts, though, are pretty crazy. You could probably do a build like that against Protoss every single game. And make your way... If you do it really well, right? If you can defend against the Oracle shenanigans at least reasonably well, you go for the quick +1 melee, you can probably win the majority of your games all the way until, like, mid-Grandmaster League. You can climb pretty far, just going for a good old Baneling bust. And you'll have people facing off against you at some point that can hold it, but... Some of those timing attacks in StarCraft 2, when they're executed well, they seem nearly impossible to stop. Like, I'm pretty sure if you give 99% of the Protoss players control from when those Zerglings and Banelings were first spotted, right, in the replay previously. You can actually use that in StarCraft 2. It's kind of cool if you ever want to, like, mess around in a replay together with a friend. You can actually go to a certain position in a game of StarCraft 2, and then have the, well, you and your friend take control of the replay from that particular moment. I'm pretty sure if you would give any other Protoss player, other than, like, the guys outside of, like, the top 10, control from that particular position, they'd probably, yeah, they'd probably mess up. They'd probably lose. Anyway. Nice little macro start this time around. Nothing all too crazy. We've got Oracles flying around. Lair is about to finish up. Roach Warren is just about to finish up as well. No quick evos, nothing all too crazy. Twilight Council here together with the +1 ground weapons. We're gonna go into a blink opener. Now, this is the moment where the gateways are thrown down, but of course, we've already got ourselves a very quick third nexus as well in the top left-hand corner. Robo facility comes up. This is all what we consider to be normal in a game of Zerg versus Protoss. Okay, there's the evo chamber. There's the Glio reconstitution. No Spire. No Robo base, just a very quick fourth Nexus. Okay, looks like we're ending this series with a macro game. I'm here for it. Yeah, I'm here for it. That would be nice. We've had some feisty games, some aggressive games. Who, however, can win in a longer match of StarCraft 2. Okay, there's the Baneling Nest, but don't get all too excited, okay? This is a normal Baneling Nest. This is if you want to go for Ravager, Ling, Bane. Your quintessential standard hatch. So Solar is gonna save the bottom right-hand corner map, or bottom right-hand corner map, bottom right-hand corner base, right here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map. He's gonna save that until a rainy day. Sometimes Zerg players actually forget about that base entirely, which is kind of funny because it's the easiest base to take. But since it's only got 6 mineral fields and 1 gas, and if you can expand all over the map, yeah, why would you take this first? This is going to be something that Solar will have later on into the game, I'm sure, if he wants it, which is kind of nice. Okay, so Ravager Ling Bane is indeed going to be the unit comp right here for Solar for now. He can transition into Brute Lords, he can transition into Lurkers, he's got a couple options. herO on the other end, going for a very gateway-heavy army, and only just now going for other heavy hitters in the form of a robo units. So, yeah, it's going to be a Disruptor right now. He decides to cancel the Immortal. Nothing all too crazy here. Stalkers, Zealots, and then a bunch of Disruptors, one of herO's favorite unit comps. Historically, we only ever saw that in Protoss versus Protoss, but... Oh, interesting. What is this? Just going for a random couple gateways over here? Are we putting like multiple layers to a wall? That's kind of interesting. This is still very much so a set of structures where you can accidentally get your, you know, your Archons stuck, right? That's one of the things they're addressing in the new StarCraft 2 balance patch. Archons will not be able to get stuck as easily anymore. But yeah, gotta be careful with your building positioning here. I mean, there's no Archons yet, but usually we'll see those coming up. You know what? He's actually going very gateway heavy. He doesn't have charge done yet, but he's already got 8 Zealots warped in just now. I think they're just waiting for that upgrade. Yep, this is the moment where herO decides to march through the center of the map. He's got an Observer in the mix. I think he's probably going to engage here on the left while simultaneously sending in the Zealots, yeah, through to the right side of the map. So that is going to be 16 Zealots. Charge at this point is done. The classic 1-2 punch. Good Purification Nova. Very nice Purification Nova, but Zerglings are coming in from the back. Okay, they're rolling wherever they can, but in the meantime, those Zealots, they are dealing the real damage. 9 drones have gone down here, and now the hatchery also falls. Quite a few Stalkers, though, did also die. How many Zealots are going to be able to escape? Okay. A lot of them will have to pay for this little trick. Maybe all of them, yeah, will have to pay for this little trick with their lives. Prism, hello. Okay. Only picking up at the last possible moment. So in the end, I mean, that was still a worthwhile trade right there for Protoss, but not as clean as you'd like to have it. Obviously, that was not Solar's 4th hatchery, that was his 5th. Losing a 4th hatchery sucks a whole lot more than a 5th. Hive at this point is done. What exactly are we going to make? Well, apparently it's just going to be more of the same for now, as he starts up Adrenal Glands right away. He doesn't have a Hydra then, does he? No. No Hydra then, no Spire. Okay, it's gonna just be a couple of Vipers together with Zergling upgrades. Interesting. So he could go into Ultras, obviously, but Ultras against someone who's already shown that they've got Robotech is probably not ideal. There's a good chance there's at least 2 Robo facilities. Now, in this game, apparently there's only 1. But there is a good chance that you'll see a couple of Immortals hit the battlefield as soon as you do go for Ultras, so... Solar doubling down on the units he's already got. No Lurkers, no Brute Lords. Massive Baneling roll by though. That's one thing he does have going for himself. He's splitting up the Banelings, and he does get a really nice group of... I was going to call them drones, but... Those are called probes, Lowko. In my defense, I've only played this game for 12 years, okay? How am I supposed to know? Unit names? Ugh. Not on this YouTube channel. Well, that Observer... scouts everything. Yeah, that's not gonna happen, Solar. Blink. Still gets a couple Stalkers, but that is by no means worth it for the Zerg. So, these traits that Zerg has been going for so far, they're all very resource inefficient, right? As long as this game goes the distance and he can deny Protoss expansions, it's fine. So once again, he's coming in from multiple angles here. Really nicely done. Is he going to throw Blinding Clouds? Is he going to throw, yeah, some Yanks? Makes a lot of sense. Trying to abduct those Disruptors, making sure that they're not going to be able to throw as many balls forward. But none of these traits are particularly great for Zerg. As a matter of fact, right now, I don't know if this one was even remotely good. I mean, sure, he got a couple of the Disruptors, but more are still available. That was a very expensive set of units to lose. The thing that Solar does have, though, is a good economy, right? So he can easily remake the units that he's losing. Okay, once again, Purification Nova attempted. Banelings got cancelled there at the last possible second, so Solar at the very least keeps them around as Zerglings for a little while longer. Good abduction over there. Man, I love this the herO aggressive style. It's so fun to watch. No one plays it better than him, which, you know, is... Anyway, another Nexus coming up. This is going to be at the 9 o'clock position. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases. And it's pretty quick. +3/+3 coming up as well. With the new multiplayer balance patch, actually, the Forge upgrades are quite a bit quicker. I think it's 7 on +1/+1, 7 seconds, 9 seconds on 2/2, and then 11 seconds on 3/3. So this style that herO is going for, a lot of people are talking about the new patch not being that great for Protals. But honestly, I've got a feeling that the Forge upgrades are really being slept on. Like, imagine if herO would be, well, 7 + 9 + 11 seconds faster on 3/3. That would essentially, or actually, that's ground level 2. Anyways, they would essentially already be done, right? They would already be finished. Which is really not to be underestimated. I think a lot of people are sleeping on the Forge upgrades a little bit. Anyway. Okay, Roaches in an awkward spot. A couple of probes ended up getting sniped by Banelings, I believe. Vipers just kind of flying on their own. herO is starting to outpace the Zerg, it seems, despite the fact that, well, Solar's actions per minute are very, very high. Okay. Good Purification Novas there in the end. Zealots in the main base get denied. Hatchery on the left side of the map is in trouble. This base on the low ground also in a little bit of trouble. Vipers finally coming back home, but they were a little too far behind, and that means that these disruptors have been absolutely destroying everything. Suddenly, right now, Solar is up with his back against the wall, and suddenly now it's herO with the economical advantage. That's going to be the end of those disruptors. Reinforcing Zerg units can probably get rid of these, well, Protals units on the creep. Can he get another hatchery before he heads home? Yeah, I think he will. Nicely done right there by herO. Very nicely done. He's got even more Zealots on the right side, too. They're thinking about going into this expansion, but standing on the creep is not the place to be, though. Yeah, I don't think you want to idle those units on the creep. Excellent. Very nicely done right there by herO, but he needs to be careful. Zerg obviously lost a lot of eco, but they had a lot of eco leading up to that point. Okay. He's still got a good amount of supply. We're now talking 106 army supply for Zerg versus 74 for the Protoss. A lot of that Protoss supply, though, is caught up in Zealots, which are nice. But they can lose a lot of value as the game progresses. +3 is finishing up for the melee units here. For the Zerg melee units, that is. Adrenal is obviously already done as well, so those links, now the Banelings as well, they are gonna pack a punch. Couple of idle workers on the left side of the map. Okay. Circling counterattack, though, helping the Protoss player out there. Forced to look at that location on the map. Think we're gonna need to see a bit of a Baneling roll-by, though, Solar. Yeah, I agree with this. Makes a lot of sense. Is there enough, though, to actually defend against this massive Protoss bio army? I mean, none of these units are biological, but it looks like an infantry-based force anyways. Disruptors. Okay, one of them does detonate, but the other one got abducted and destroyed right away. In the meantime, Banelings have finished up, and they're gonna... Okay, they're gonna go after the mineral line over here. This is really nice for Solar. Getting 11 workers is probably not as much as he hoped for, but it does even up the worker count a little bit more. He really needs to have an overseer here, though, because the observer is just scouting everything. A couple observers just chilling, just scouting everything that he ever needs. Solar rebuilding some of the hatcheries that he's lost. This is a difficult base usually to kill for the Protoss, because it's so tucked away, but he'll probably get mining to that one here momentarily once more. Okay. A couple of Banelings joining as well. He's going for an Immortal right now. Maybe a little bit concerned for a transition here as well. I mean, they're still going to be good against the Roaches, of course. Pocket base, by the way, taken as well by Solar, but now suddenly, okay, the Zerglings coming in from the back. Look at the +3 Adrenal Glands, man. It deals so much damage. At least compared to early game Zerglings, these guys pack a punch. And this is against, yeah, fully upgraded armor as well on these Stalkers, so that's pretty nice. Wouldn't mind seeing additional shield upgrades, but they're quite expensive. He's got the resources for it. Yeah, this observer has been an absolute hero. Just scouting out every... Hey, it's been an absolute hero? Haha! Unintentional. Anyways, yeah, he's been scouting out everything. Sees the army movement of the Zergs, and now herO knows that he needs to move around. Once again, though, we have another roll-by preparing itself at the top section of the map, and there was just a huge probe transfer over here. There are 32 workers in this location. Oh no, herO. This could be a problem. He decides to recall units right now. Okay, does he have enough? He does get here in time. 7 workers actually on the side of the Zerg have just fallen. Okay, and Zealot run by over here. Getting more damage done to those Lings and Banes. Yeah, they killed some of the pylons and a couple of the photon cannons and maybe a shield battery, but not really what Solar was looking for. 91 probes here for herO. Honestly, that's a little bit too much. Like, he's not the one zerging his opponent, right? Or maybe he is, I don't know. Good splits here on the Zealots. Really nice splits, making it difficult for those Banelings to get efficient trades. I mean, you're always trading gas for minerals, right? When you're rolling Banes into a bunch of Zealots. So I think that's a pretty dang good trade here for the Protoss player regardless. Anyways, even more value is better. Archons joining the battlefield as well. Okay. Yeah, no, those Vipers are putting in a ton of work right now. Blinding Cloud over here as well, making it difficult for those slower moving Protoss units to get a good fight in. Once again though, Zealots on the right side of the map trying to be annoying. Reinforcing Zerg units are dealing with the Zealot run by, but Zealots are still everywhere. That Observer scouting out everything. Not really too concerned about it. Stalkers get pushed back on the left side of the map. But in the meantime, herO did secure this Nexus over here. He should probably transfer a couple of workers on over to that side of the map. I think he's probably got resources to do so. Are we gonna go for that many Stormy Boys? No, okay, they're gonna be Archons. I was gonna say, that'd be crazy. As a matter of fact, I don't even think he's got Storm Research. No, it's just basic units going up against basic units. I love this so much about this playstyle, though, from herO. Like, before herO came back from his military service, everybody was playing those heavy hitters from Protoss. And herO mixes them in, too. But he goes for a very gateway-heavy army, even in the later stages of the game. And I'm such a fan of that. It reminds me a lot of Marine Marauder Medevac, right? Just like the Protoss version of it. And it's really sick to see. Anyways, couple of Zealots here trying to get a good trade. Banelings, though. Ooh, rolling into Archons. That's not where you want them to go. Reinforcing Protoss units, popping out of the Robo facility, getting misrallied. I think that Nexus on the high ground may very well fall, but it comes at the cost of a hatchery here too. herO decides to recall the, well, most expensive units in that army. Stalkers blinking away. Nexus actually still lives. I think herO is actually outpacing Solar here over the last, well, really the majority of this game, but especially the last couple of minutes. Because we're getting to the point where Solar is running out of juice. Like, he doesn't have a lot of mining anymore. He's got a lot of bases, yes, but we're 20 minutes into this game. So only really the outer expansions are the ones that are mining. Look at this. Very little resource gathering here happening in most of these bases. And he's still got a couple minutes left, but he needs to get something done. Things are starting to look a little desperate here. That's why he's biling in one location, hoping his opponent is not paying attention. These Banelings could maybe change the tide of battle. Creating a distraction on the high ground while simultaneously moving in over here. Okay. That's a lot of dead probes. 74 versus 69 still. Ooh, this Protoss army is looking real scary, though. Good corrosive balls there. Okay, looks like we're marching towards the right side of the map. Yeah, I've always thought that the mid game in StarCraft 2 is the most interesting part. I mean, early game can be a lot of fun. Late game can be a lot of fun, too. But mid-game seems to be where the dynamics are, you know, peaking, right? It's where it's most interesting to watch. Do we have a base race right now? Anyways, what I'm getting at is that herO sticks around on that mid-game for much longer than the majority of the Protoss players out there. Like, this is very much so a mid-gamey unit comp, right? Anyways, 2 Nexi ended up going down. Tons of probes have gone down as well. A hatchery here on the right side of the map, but that was 2 bases for just a single one. That was a decent trade there for Solar, but he doesn't have a lot of mining anymore. This is really becoming an issue. Does he have enough to clean up this Protoss army, though? That's the main question. If he cleans all of this up with a decent trade, I think he's going to be all right. But look at the amount of gas that herO is invested into those Archons. Those Archons are having a grand old time. There's 7 of them available right now. Okay, double Observer in the same location. Don't think that really does a whole lot. In the meantime, though, the way that this Protoss army here is positioned, yeah, Zerg can't actually get towards their own natural. So Solar right now cut off from his own lifeline here, and that is incredibly dangerous. And despite the fact that Solar was 2-0 ahead at the start of this series, it's herO who wins the grand finals of the ESL Open Cup number 153.